What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. I am EJG, and this is another episode of Let's Talk About It. Now, as you can see, today we are talking about Clara Vanguard in their 2024 production entitled Vagabond. Now, look, first of all, we are incredibly excited that Vanguard returned to the field in 2024, so congratulations to everyone who participated and who was a performer, a teacher, a help staff, anyone who was on the team that helped Vanguard get back on the field in 2024 and have an incredible season. Thank you for being a part of it, and thank you for everything that you did. Now, they came back swinging in 2024. They came up and swooped up the percussion trophy, and they had an incredible show with an incredible story. And we're going to get into that right now, but before we do that, please make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. It would mean the world to me. All right, now without further ado, we're getting into Clara Vanguard's 2024 production entitled Vagabond. Let's go.
Drum majors, Maddie Hines, Megan
Look,
Conner,
and I have to say, hands down, my favorite uniform of the season.
Is your core ready?
I really enjoyed the blue and the red and that contrast and how it just really popped on the field. The details in the uniform itself, the red drums from the battery, like it. Yes, with this iconic opening sample, paying homage to Kendrick Lamar. And as you can see, there are no props on the field. But they kind of make it to where you don't really notice because they have so much going on visually. A really cool opening moment from the front ensemble and the battery. We have these batteries interjections in between the front ensemble interlude, which is really cool. Ooh, nice. The touch that they play with Vanguard's battery specifically, unmatched. Because even with those three players, you can hear that clarity and you can hear just the blend. It's great. This incredibly musical line from the front as they pass things onto the battery with a super strong opening statement. Yeah. Strong opening impact from the brass. Look at these flags, how this yellow just pops on the field. Yeah, symbols. Come on, flags. Yeah. Eat it up. Look, already just a couple seconds in, like strong playing from the horn line, a really strong presence from the color guard. The battery is already playing their ass off. Like, it's a good time already. And such powerful music, too. I love the muted presses on the marimbas. Boom, boom, boom. I feel like such a great use of those chords as it like pushes the section forward. Have our snare break. Ooh. Yeah, baritones. We have our trumpets and mellows. I love how they hit us right in the face with that chord right after the trumpet section of the feature. A really cool trumpet feature, having him facing backfield and then the concerts kind of take over from there. Okay, we're gonna stop. Okay, so there's so many cool things happening. All right, so like we said, we start off this movement. We have these presses from the front ensemble. Boom, zoom, zoom, zoom. And to me, from a musical standpoint, it feels like that's kind of signaling like the movement of the journey itself, or like a heartbeat, something that's kind of keeping the train moving. Zoom, 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 zoom. Where are we going? So it kind of feels like we're starting this journey, and then we're running to all these different things. Like we had our snare feature here, then we went into our low brass feature, and they're just throwing 16 notes all over the place. With so much play between triplets and 16 notes, which they handled really maturely. So props to y'all. My bad. Oh my gosh. But yeah, so we have all these different little moments happening, and then immediately after the trumpet feature, they hit us smack dab in the face with this huge chord, leading us into this somewhat of a shout section. But you know, it's just really just everyone coming in for the first time in the movement, but with so much power and so much intensity, and we still just have everything just really moving. We even have traces of that melody showing up again, and then all of it to just really like mellow down to a moment where we have our trumpet soloist playing backfield, and then things just kind of die down. So look, they're really playing with our emotions here with the music, but it's such a cool way, and it's really just like really honing in into like the theme of like the journey and everything like that. So let's just keep going. I'm gonna try not to focus on the percussion too much, but I'm trying to like make sure I'm, you know, catching everything. But there's just so much happening, so many cool things. I love those flags right here in the center around the mellophones, I'm thinking. And we're kind of building things up again. This is a cool set. Such a massive sound, man. We got some mixed metered action going on. We don't mind a little 7/8 groove. We don't mind that. Ooh. Nasty. A really cool moment, like, and they did a really good job of like handling all the mixed metered responsibilities and playing all of their solos and challenging lines on top of all of that stuff that was going on top of all the metered craziness. Yes, snares. Ooh. The shots heard around the world. Now we have a trombone quartet and a slight mood change. Got some muted trumpet happening. I love the electronics behind underneath this quad solo. See, Vanguard, I'm a fan of their sound design. I just wish sometimes they would have it a little higher in the mix. That way it's supporting a little bit more, kind of like really creating that soundscape. I love how this section has a really lax feel, but still very soulful. They're really loosening up the bodies, moving around. You see that melody popping up again. Bum, 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 bum. You know what? Someone should watch this show. And jokingly, someone should watch this show and like put a tally of how many times that line comes up. Da, 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 da. Because off the top of my head, I want to say it's probably like 5 or 6, but I'm sure there's more. I'm sure there's more. But shout out to the writer and the arranger, because that's a cool thing to do if you're able to take a melody and like put it in different places in the show and it makes sense. Back with our quads, and I love how we have these rope drums in the front ensemble. Dang, there's a lot of percussion features in this show, or at least a lot of percussion exposure moments. But I guess it is kind of after this. Definitely cool, and y'all sounded good. I kind of hate that y'all kind of like ended that section just like in a straight line. I feel like y'all could have done something a little more cool or bolder than that. Or maybe like have ended like up on the front sideline or something to that degree to where it's like not in the middle of like the guard formation or something like that. But I get it, you know. Staging and placement is hard in shows, so, but still, nonetheless, doesn't take away from how good the moment was. Now we're moving into our ballad. Some beautiful lush playing from the front ensemble, as always. Ooh, great toss with the guard. Great catch, my bad, Jesus. Great catch from the guard. Some really beautiful choreography in guard, and Jesus Christ, English. Beautiful choreography and equipment work from the guard. And I love how they have, you know, the horn line kind of like being stagnant and like being still, and that way the guard is able to like really move freely and like really be the visual movement for the section. We love a good backfill playing moment as we're building up to our hit. That's a really cool moment, kind of surprising us with the flags out of nowhere. And those flags are gorgeous. Like, look at those colors, and that ombre kind of sets on the field. Come on, Mellows. Vanguard, the king and queens of mellow sustains. Clock it. With a really beautiful and powerful sound. Well blended too. There it is again. Da, 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 da. But a really nice ballad. Definitely one of my faves from the season. Beautiful transition. An immediate energy change. High brass throwing out 16 notes at us. Low brass coming in with the strong chords. Come on, nice little company front moment. I really love these flags too. Looks like kind of a fuchsia with a little bit of yellow on there. Look, I'm not gonna try to point out all the colors, but I love the way it looks on the field, and I love y'all's spread. That's a cool visual moment. That ripple, sickening, sickening. Yes, bring it home. Bring it home. Y'all hear that sound? And we have our legendary V from the Symbols. Look, so that was Santa Clara Vanguard's 2024 production, Vagabond. Look, so many cool moments, and one of the things that I enjoyed the most, and look, it's incredibly obvious that they didn't have any props on the field. However, just the things that they were doing drill-wise, visual-wise, and with the choreography and the body movements, like, it takes up the field so well that they're still able to get their point and their story and their theme across from a visual aspect. And then with them not having such big, bulky props on the field, for one, I know getting on the field and off the field was probably extremely easy for y'all. But two, you can tell that it kind of pushed them to a different level of creativity of how we're going to get all of our accessories and all of our equipment on the field, and how we're going to, how we're going to do staging, how we're going to hide some of these things. So if you were able to notice, the horn line members had bags on their backs, and so the guard members were able to put some of their equipment inside those bags, and that's how they were able to create some of those cool moments. And look, and not to give away y'all's tricks, but I'm just saying, to my point of pushing y'all to a different level of creativity, that's how they were able to, achieve some of those cool effects moments, like in the ballad, where it seems like those flags just kind of came out of nowhere, and like, so I feel like, the more you take away the bigger things, it helps you think about, it pushes your creativity in a way. It pushes your creativity. So I hope like more cores kind of take the challenge of like finding different ways to do things, kind of how Vanguard did. Because, even with the absence of props, it gave them so many more opportunities to be just as creative, if not more creative, of how they're going to approach making some of these moments special. So props to them for doing that. For props to y'all for like really tapping into another level of creativity and giving us an incredible performance and an incredible product. So this has been Santa Clara Vanguard's 2024 production. Please let me know how you feel about this show. It was definitely one of my faves, and I would love to hear what you guys feel about it and what you guys think about it as well. This has been another episode of Let's Talk About It. This is EJG, and I will see you guys on the next one. All right, we out.